So here we have the Sitivien ST-11. This is a very big knife designed for outdoor use, survival, bushcraft, clearing trails. This is by far the heaviest blade stock on any knife that I own at this point. I do own some other big knives, but this knife is very, very heavy. Very thick blade stock. So this is the Sitivien ST-11 DC53 steel. I absolutely love how they did this handle. It is one of the most beautiful knife handles that I have of any knife. It is absolutely gorgeous. You can see all the way through these holes. You could run a rope through there if you wanted to tie this to a spear and make a really, long distance defense weapon. If you're walking through country with big grizzly bears and stuff like that, you tie this to a big long stick and you got a 10-foot poker. Tell the bear, get the heck away from you. And this knife is a beast. It is so thick. It is unbelievable how thick this blade stock is. And it's pointy on the end. You got a drop point. So it's, you might call it a clip point, a drop point. But it is super thick. I want to say it's a flat grind. And the sharpening edge is really done precisely. It's not a super slicey blade as far as like slicing a tomato goes, but this is a working edge, a working blade. I would strongly tell you that this knife would save your life in a scenario with a bear. This is a beast of a knife. It fits in my hand just extremely well. You could have a lanyard here. You could run your lanyard up to this hole. You could run your lanyard through here and then come back to here, and so your hand would fit in the lanyard real nice and it wouldn't fall out of your hand. This knife is incredible. For the money, you're not breaking this knife. You're not going to hurt this knife unless you're trying to. If you're trying to break this knife, you'll break anything. But this knife will save your life in any scenario, guaranteed. This is one of the companies that I have really grown to appreciate. I've got a couple knives from them already, and I purchased these knives with my own money. I'm just starting this YouTube channel. I haven't got any knives from any manufacturers, so these reviews are my own and they are honest. I'm going to tell you if I don't like anything, but I tell you what, there's nothing on this knife that I don't like. All the edges are smooth. There's no hot spots. This handle is just super comfortable. This is a knife you could put in your hand all day long and swing it around and clear a trail, clear bushes and branches and baton through logs. And I tell you what, this knife is big. So I would say it's greater than a 5.5 inch handle. I don't know the exact specifications. I'm not really in the business to share with you guys all of the specs and the details about the thickness of the blade. That information's all online. But you guys, I'm telling you, this knife is amazing. And I'm just gonna ask the YouTube knife community a favor. I'm just starting this YouTube channel, so if you could get my content out to knife manufacturers and knife makers and let them know that I'm not gonna go away. I'm in this for the long run. I'm gonna review knives and blades for as long as I can, and there's only so much I can do with my own financing as far as buying a lot of different knives and things. I buy the ones that I like, that appeal to me, and there's a lot of other knives that I can't buy, and that may not appeal to my specific taste, but that a lot of you other guys want to see, a lot of other people want to see. So I would just ask the knife community to please try to help me grow this channel. You know, share this channel with the other big knife guys in the industry and popular guys on YouTube that are doing good stuff. Just help me share my channel, help me grow this channel. Please subscribe and like, you know, this video, and help me get my videos to knife manufacturers and knife makers, because I really want to just do up close you know, videos of knives and just really give a detailed look at each blade, and just help consumers buy these knives based on, you know, a review. And so I would really appreciate the YouTube world's help and the community's help growing this channel. And so enough with that. We'll get back to looking at this knife. And like I just said, this knife has impressed me almost more than any blade that I have. I love the handle. I love how the handle is put together. I love the red liners. I guess you'd call them orange liners. I love the thickness of the blade. I love the bird beak. I love the lanyard hole. Just the contour in itself. I love being able to look at the different layers of the handle here. Both sides are symmetrical, perfectly symmetrical. One side's not bigger than the other. The jimping on this blade is very, very nice. Let's take a close look at the jimping. On a knife like this, you'll be using it a lot. Very rounded over. Nothing is sharp where it's gonna, you know, give you a blister after using it all day. And for being as big of a knife as this is, they paid attention to the detail. I mean, you could slap a rubber handle on a knife like this and call it a day. But I tell you what, look at this handle. Look at this thing. It's actually just a beautiful work of art. I mean, this thing hanging on your wall, it's just beautiful. The finger, you could call this a sharpening choil, but you know, this could be where your finger goes as well if you want to choke up on this and do some feather sticking, you know, whatever you want to do. More fine detailed cutting right there is a beautiful spot for your finger. It's not too small. I have pretty big hands, and if your hand's bigger than mine, you're still getting in there, you know. So I can get my finger up all the way to my middle knuckle real comfortably there. Let's take a real close look at this handle. These are very special fasteners. I don't know what these are called, guys. If you know what they're called, feel free to comment down below. But I'm sure there's a special tool that you'd want to get to remove these handles, but you can definitely remove these handles. And I think maybe this screw is a little high, just a touch. Maybe a guy could just tighten that just a little bit, but all the other screws are set in far enough. So maybe this one could just get tightened up a little bit. But this handle feels solid. Everything feels flat. I say the blade and the G10 and the handle are all flat. There's not one that's higher than the other. Very, very nice. Let's take a real close look at this blade here. Let's try to look at this point. Look at that. Trying to get the camera to focus here. There we go. That point is incredible for a big knife like this. So I wouldn't say this knife is sharpened to like a 14-degree angle or anything like that. It's probably a steeper angle for a tougher edge. This edge is really, really tough. Obviously, I haven't taken this knife out and done anything with it, but I've done my share of research and reviews. Watched other people's reviews on this knife, and nothing but positive to say about this knife. Let's take a look at the back end of this. Look at the work that went into that. I would say the inside of this is nice and rounded off. It's not going to cut your rope at all. Just look at the work that went into that. So beautiful. I don't know. I think this is a stone washed blade. Maybe some type of acid treatment to make the blade black like this. I absolutely love it. I know this came in some different colors and varieties, and I tell you what, I'm tempted to buy other versions of this one just in case it's not made anymore. Because I tell you what, this is one of those knives where if the world's ending and you got to grab one knife and run out your house, this would probably be the one. I mean, if I had to guess, I'm going to say this knife is about a pound. It's so heavy. It's amazing. So it came with just nothing really in the box, just a little bubble wrap, I think, in the box. There's not really any stickers or anything on the box other than one right here. Sitivien ST-11 fixed blade. I would imagine that would say something bushcrafting, hunting, hiking, fishing, black. Beautiful though, I tell you what. So the sheath for this is equally as nice. It's a fold over taco style. I mean, for a big knife like this to have a Kydex sheath, a fold over minimal taco style sheath, drain hole, belt clip. I mean, what more could you ask for? This thing is amazing. So check this out. You put this thing in the sheath and you click it in there. There's still so much to do here. I mean, what I would do, and I'm probably going to do this because this is my knife, I'm keeping this. I'm going to probably take a Dremel tool and I'm going to just get rid of some of this extra material on the sheath here and maybe make this thumb ramp, push it a little farther back just so I can get my full purchase. I want full purchase on this handle. Not that I can't get full purchase on here. I mean, look at that. I get my fingers on here, no problem when I go to pull this blade out. No problem. Still got full purchase easily. But, you know, so I'm right here. Push it out. And I just wish my finger was a little more far forward when I pulled that blade out. And then if I was right here, I'd be right on that jimping right away as soon as I pull that blade out. So that's the only modification that I would make to this. And you know what? That's very, very minimal. For the handle size, you know, you definitely get 4 fingers on it no matter how far you push it in there. Easy. All day long. All day. Even if your hands are bigger than mine, I got fairly big hands, but I mean, even if your hands are bigger than mine, you're still going to get your 4 fingers on here. I don't know a human being alive that isn't going to have 4 fingers on that. But beautiful, just beautiful. This is your typical sheath that you put on your belt. I'm sure it would accommodate you know, several different sizes. Obviously you take these 2 things out to get a bigger belt in there, and then you can use the full width. If you have a smaller belt, you just move these around to accommodate for a smaller belt. You lock this thing on there, and then I think you turn it to off, and then nobody can push this and get it off your belt unless they do that first and then push. So it would take a lot to get this off your belt. But very, very nice sheath. I mean, can't complain here. Is it a little bit thin of a Kydex? Sure. It flexes a little bit, but I'm pushing pretty hard there. Overall, I give this knife a 10 out of 10. Even with the little modifications that I think should be made to the sheath, 10 out of 10 all day. I would trust my life with this blade, and I would be able to use this blade for years, probably for the rest of my life. Should never break. It's so thick, it's amazing. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. We just did another review of a different Sitivien. We reviewed this guy here. I like this knife as well. Beautiful little knife. Again, really thick blade stock on this. Really nice knife. I really like it. Kind of the same thing with this one. I'd just do a little trimming on the sheath though. But both beautiful knives. I love how they did the belly on this one. And the sharpening choil, I love how it's not interfered with by the finger guard. You can get the full belly down, you know. But beautiful knife. Look at that. I mean, these both have colorful liners. Beautiful handles. Great. I think this is a great company, guys. If you haven't experienced their knives already, I would highly recommend pick up a knife, put it in your hands. I tell you what, look at the handle of this knife. It is so comfortable in your hand. Well, guys, I hope that review helped you. And again, if the YouTube community can do me a favor and try to help me get this channel off the ground, I'd really appreciate it. Got a lot more knives to come. Got some really high-end knives that I'm going to be reviewing here. If you're into these bigger knives, these high-end knives, this isn't like a high dollar knife, but I do got some high dollar knives coming up. And so if you like those, please stay tuned. I'm going to give you a little spoiler. I'm going to be doing this knife here, another big knife. If you like big knives, stay tuned for this one. Thanks, guys.